When I was a real little kid, we lived in a pale blue house at the top of Queen Mary Drive, right across from the valley of the 16-Mile Creek. I was told I was never to cross the street and go anywhere near the valley, as there were things down there. Things down there. So I never did. 'Cause I knew there were things down there. Things that hurt kids. The blue house was next to a small grove of trees. My bedroom window faced towards the trees, so that when I looked out at night, it felt like I was in the middle of a forest, a dark and sinister forest, where things hid amongst the shadows, waiting for me to fall asleep. Waiting for me to fall asleep so they could come and get me. How I hated that damn window. By the time I was in grade 1, my parents had decided that I was a big boy, and no longer needed a nightlight. They also thought that fresh air was beneficial for growing boys. So, as a result, my bedroom window was always slightly open during the summer months. You cringe at the thought of that, don't you, dear listeners? But it was a more innocent time, when many people never locked their doors or their vehicles. Of course, I protested, only to be scolded by comments such as, "Don't be such a big baby." Your feelings and self-esteem were not high on the list of parental concerns back then. And so, night after night, I would lie in my bed, wide awake, and stare at that damn window. The curtains were pulled back to admit the night air, and my only protection from whatever lurked in the woods was the thin mesh window screen. No protection at all. And so, night after night, I would wait for something to come. And eventually, something did. A human head. It came through the dark trees, hanging about 5 feet above the ground. Slowly it turned from side to side, as if sniffing the air for an unknown scent. Sniffing the air before freezing and going rigid with attention. It had spotted my window and slowly floated towards it. It couldn't see in, not yet, but I could see its face, a boyish, almost baby face, freckled, the cheeks pale and fish-belly white, the long hair greasy and disheveled. The eyes were wide, and I could see a glint of red as it floated up to the mesh, as it tried to see inside, tried to find me. The head was bobbing gently on the evening breeze, and then, suddenly, it stiffened, nostrils flaring, eyes flashing. It, whatever it was, had spotted me. The head flowed gently forward, only to collide with the screen. I saw it back up, then jump forward to hit the screen again. And then again. This floating head, was trying to break the screen, to punch it in, to break it so it could enter the bedroom and get me. I threw myself out of bed with a shriek, flailing madly in the direction of the door, bawling hysterically at the top of my lungs, and crashing through the door of my parents' bedroom, where my mother was already calling, "What's wrong? What's wrong? while the old man, cursing, was fumbling for the light. Everywhere, in my bedroom, in the hallway, in my parents' room, I could see flashing red eyes staring at me from out of the shadows. My only escape from them was to burrow between Mum and Dad and hide underneath the covers, although I was worried they might follow me there too. Eventually, between bouts of hysterical crying, I managed to gasp out my story about the face at the window, the face trying to get in my room, the face, as I persisted in calling it, before finally falling into a troubled sleep. The official story, my parents' official story, was that I'd had a nightmare. Still, the next day, the old man replaced my bedroom window screen. Had it been damaged? Afterwards, when I eventually returned to my bedroom, after a week of sleeping with the old people, my parents made it a point to always shut and secure my bedroom window before closing the curtains tight. Nothing could see in, and now nothing could get in. I had been persuaded that it had all been a bad dream, but when I started school, the other kids in the schoolyard soon put me right as to the nature of my nocturnal visitor. It had been a bob, a floater, a night floater. What is a night floater? Night floaters, or floaters, were a paranormal phenomena afflicting our town. The name referred to the ability of certain individuals to enter a trance state and detach their heads from the trunks of their bodies, the heads then being able to fly or float at will. The night floaters were said to attack unsuspecting victims, biting them and sometimes even killing them. Night floaters could also animate their headless bodies as another method of attack. In grade school, we referred to the night floaters as bobs, as the motion of a disembodied head floating through the night was similar to the motion of an object bobbing on the surface of a body of water. They were the nightmare terrors of my childhood, and for many years I kept both my bedroom windows and my bedroom curtains shut tight. It was the only way I could enjoy pleasant dreams. But eventually I grew up and found all kinds of other things to worry about. By the time we were finishing high school and set to go out into the big wide world, most of my friends had forgotten about the night floaters. Forgotten about them. But I never did. My story has two interesting sequels. The first occurred when I was in my early 20s. I stopped at a variety store in another town to buy cigarettes, and the sullen clerk who waited on me seemed vaguely familiar. He had a boyish, almost baby face, freckled, the cheeks pale and fish-belly white, the long hair greasy and beginning to thin. It was him. It was him, the face, the floating head, the night floater. Older now, but it was him. He seemed to somehow know me too. That's probably why he was so rude. Anyway, I never stopped at that store again. The second sequel happened recently. My mom now lives in a senior's home, and during a recent visit, I reminded her of the episode. To my surprise, she turned very pale and asked, in an agitated voice, "When did this happen?" I told her, back when I was in the first grade. That's when the other little boy disappeared, she muttered. It appears a young boy, also in grade 1, disappeared from a house across the way several days after my nightmare encounter. Coincidence? I don't think so. A random case of abduction, followed by cruel murder? Terrible enough, but hardly paranormal? To that I say, bunk. A night floater appeared outside my bedroom window and tried to gain entrance, tried to get me. And a few days later, another little boy about my age and living just across the street vanished. And that's supposed to be a coincidence? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. The night floaters are real. I saw them, and so I'm living proof that they really do exist. Or perhaps I should say, I'm proof. Proof that's still alive. The moral of the story? The night floaters really do exist. Be sure to close your windows at night and draw the curtains tight, and then you may enjoy pleasant dreams. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the night floaters, werewolves, and the black-eyed children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs in 2022. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix here, that's PX here, while the music was the haunting Ghost Processional by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.